Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Editor-in-Chief of Total Retail, and I am joined on today's show by Joyce Workus, who is the Senior Vice President of Marketing at Big Lots. Joyce and I are going to be discussing Big Lots' new marketing campaign, Be a BIGionaire, and we're excited to talk to her today. So thanks for joining me today, Joyce.
Hi, Joe. Thanks for having me.
So as I noted, I want to talk a little bit about the Be a BIGionaire campaign that Big Lots has recently announced. So could you tell our audience a little bit about this new brand marketing campaign?
I would love to. First of all, what the heck is a BIGionaire? Is someone who feels like $1 million when they're hunting for deals at their neighborhood Big Lots. And I know it's a funny word. When we thought about our customer and everything we know about her, we thought, you know what? There is no word in the English language that is sufficient to talk about our customer, and hence BIGionaire was born. One thing I wanted to add is while there is a great part of this that is the marketing campaign, I really look at this as a movement. It's our brand. And so while we are bringing it to life through a variety of marketing tenets, it really is about a shift in the way that we think about our customer and how our associates interact with our customers, the products that we bring into store. It's about just celebrating the fact that our customer loves great deals and treasures.
Yeah, and to that point, Joyce, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about your customer and the research that you've done on your team and throughout the organization that kind of factored into the planning for this Be a BIGionaire campaign. Tell us a little bit about some of the consumer research that you did.
Absolutely. So our media agency, MediaStorm, and their sister agency, Merkle, have helped us in that we take our rewards data. So we have over 21 million active rewards members. And we looked at data that Merkle had for about 200 million people in the US. And we looked for where does our customer over or under index significantly compared to the US population. And that really helped us to understand our customer from a demographic standpoint, but also from an attitudinal and behavioral standpoint as well. From a demographic standpoint, first thing we found out was that our customer is as diverse as the US population. From an income standpoint, it literally, our bands match the US population almost perfectly, meaning we have people from all walks of life, a variety of incomes. From an ethnicity standpoint, we learned, and we already knew this to a certain extent, but our customer significantly over indexes on being female.
Okay.
While the majority are Caucasian, we actually also mirror the US population from a diversity standpoint. We have slightly more Hispanic, slightly more African American, but for the most part, we're a US brand representing the country. Now, from the attitudinal and behavioral standpoint, this is where we really got some juicy data looking at our customers. And I would describe our customer as the all-American superwoman. She works in a profession that is essential from the definition last year. She's a caretaker. She's a teacher. She's a medical professional. Probably maybe a veteran or a police officer. So just a variety of different occupations. But one thing is for sure, she has many mouths to feed. She wants to take care of her family. She loves her home. Her home is her haven. And she wants to celebrate her uniqueness. And it's about this gregarious personality that she wants to come to life when you come to her house for a holiday celebration, or with how she dresses and acts. She's very unique. And it's really grounded in the fact that she loves to come to Big Lots to find treasures for her home or for herself. And she wants a smoking deal. So it's all about us being the home of the hunt for her. And so for us, with our campaign, it was really important that we brought this style, this being loud and proud, to life and celebrated the playfulness and the gregarious nature of our customer. And that's why we think BIGionaires is such a great message for us.
Yeah, and it's kind of celebrating that customer and having fun doing it as well. I'm interested in just the one piece around the, you said you kind of looked at the behavioral data as well. Have you seen a big shift in your customers' behavior over the last year during the pandemic? I believe Big Lots stores were open throughout as an essential retailer, but what have you seen in terms of the behavioral data over the last year plus?
Yeah, so we were open all last year as an essential retailer. And our mission is really grounded in helping our customers live big and save lots. And so what we found is she really wants to live big at home. And that always was the case, but I think that the pandemic made that a double down for her because, well, you know, I'm sure you're the same way, Joe. I mean, I'm staring at my white walls in my office. You know what? Wasn't a problem when I was in here every once in a while, but I'm in here every day and I got to do something about that. And so she really came back to us considerably more and just wanted to consume all of the things that we had that were great values so that she could decorate her home. A great example of that is our Broyhill line that we have in furniture and soft home, which has done remarkably well. She just can't get enough because it's such great quality for the price that you pay. So I would say that the change is just doubling down on the formula that we already had for her, which is really that we offer everything she needs for her home.
Yeah, and for sure, as people spent more times in their more time in their home over the last year plus, those projects and those furnishings that became even more important to their lives. So back to the BIGionaire campaign. So you paired her with the actor, author, producer Retta to star in this campaign. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about that relationship and why Retta is the right spokesperson for the Be a BIGionaire campaign?
We are so excited to be partnering with Retta. You know, she, in addition to being obviously a comedian and an actor, she's also an opera singer, and she was pre-med, and she was even a chemist. I mean, this woman is incredible.
Impressive,
so,
right?
Yeah. So to me, it goes back to what I said earlier about our customer being an all-American superwoman. My God, what a perfect person to start our journey as BIGionaires. She is our number one celebrity right now, but she is not the only BIGionaire. We envision expanding this to a variety of people to continue to reinforce the diversity of our customers. That said, you know, why start with her? You know, she already shopped Big Lots. When we approached her, she was so thrilled. She talked about the fact that when she first moved to LA, you know, she had a small apartment there and she lived at Big Lots and was decorating it, you know, to the nines to really represent herself. And she still shops us today. So she's very authentic to our brand. And as a person, I've talked to her a couple of times and I just am so impressed with just her kindness. She's really a great and interesting person. And so for us, it was a natural fit. I don't want to have someone be our celebrity spokesperson that's never been in a Big Lots. So that says, yeah, I love living big and saving lots. And the great thing is that, you know, people come to Big Lots, whether you need to shop Big Lots because financially you're on a limited budget or you're not, everyone wants a deal. And, you know, she's the same way. And she just, when we were on the shoot with her, she was buying products. She was telling us about all the things that she wanted in the store. And then whenever we had breaks, she was putting stuff in a cart. So just a great human being and happy to partner with her.
Yeah, and really a good embodiment of the brand as you talked about. So let's talk a little bit about the strategy behind the campaign, Joyce. So, you know, tell us a little bit about kind of the different channels that the campaign will be marketed in. And then, you know, and this can be specifically to this campaign or you kind of your overall marketing strategy at Big Lots in terms of determining, you know, what is the optimal mix of channels for a campaign such as the Be a BIGionaire? Is it, you know, between television and social and search and email and all the ways that you're communicating with your customers? Tell us a little bit about kind of that strategy behind this particular campaign and then overall.
Sure. Our strategy isn't necessarily different from the way that we invest in a variety of channels before BIGionaires. To me, it's about being where our customer is. And just like our customer, making our dollar holler, stretching it as far as possible, which means that it's a combination of some upper funnel channels that can enable us to really bring this new brand, this evolved brand to life, as well as very targeted ones that we can leverage our rewards data and not only go find our customers, but build lookalike models and target new BIGionaires to invite them to become part of the community. So from a traditional standpoint, you'll see it continue to be brought to life in television, especially our tentpole advertising. We have our Labor Day, and you'll see it on radio or hear it on radio. And of course, also other traditional tactics would include our store. So I don't want someone to hear it in marketing and not experience being a BIGionaire in store. So we want to make sure our signage brings it to life, as well as our circulars. It's about continuing to reinforce that in all channels. From a digital standpoint, we're activating it in organic and paid social. Certainly all of our email. So we have over 21 million email addresses for our members, and we want to continue to bring it to life there. And we are also going to be bringing it to life through earned media, through public relations, and talking about how can we tie this message to all of the great products as we go through each one of the seasons. So we've got a lot planned, and we want to make sure that this resonates with our customers. I know it takes time, but we really want to take a 360-degree approach to make sure that happens. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank you. I know that Total Retail announced Big Lots as the 2020 #1 omni-channel retailer last year.
Yeah.
That was incredibly exciting, and recognition of all of the work that we've done to invest in our website and our capabilities to make sure that our BIGionaires can get their products where they want them and when they want them. So that means you'll also see the campaign on biglots.com, and we'll continue to look at how we expand our services to make sure she gets those great products, whether it's same day curbside pickup, or BOPIS, or Instacart, or delivery to your home. We want to be there for her.
Yeah, well, kudos to you and your team, and then across the organization, as you talked about kind of the vastness of the ways that consumers can interact with Big Lots, and you're kind of covering the gamut there with how you're getting out there and communicating with customers, not only existing customers, but some of the data work that you're doing to uncover those potential new customers, as you talked about, really trying to move the needle in the right direction for Big Lots. So congrats goes to you and your team for that work. Let's talk a little bit about, with a campaign such as Be a BIGionaire, I imagine before you launch this and go public with it, there's tons of internal meetings and planning that goes into the process. So tell us a little bit about kind of when you do that, what is Big Lots, monitoring to measure, how effective this Be a BIGionaire campaign is? What are the things you're looking at in terms of, check that box that we won with this one, and here's where we could improve. Tell us a little bit about kind of the metrics involved in measuring something like a Be a BIGionaire campaign.
Sure. So I mentioned we have 21 million rewards members, but I know there are many, many, many millions more people out there that haven't been into a Big Lots yet. And when they do, they're going to be just razzle-dazzled by what they see in terms of the products and the prices and everything they can get. So for me, I think about things like the upper funnel metrics to start. How do we make sure that we're improving brand perception in things like us, the softer things like us being a fun place to go to. We don't want to be a chore, so we want to measure that. We also want to make sure that we're not screaming our value, because that's really core to our heritage. So metrics like being a great value and affordable. And also going back to our heritage, there's things in our store like a twerking llama, stuffed animal, or 1 pound gummy bear that you're just not going to find anywhere else. Those are the things that make people smile. So we want to make sure that that we're also reinforcing the treasures you can find in stores. Next is brand consideration. So yes, I want people to have an improved perception of the brand, but I want them to also, think about Big Lots when they need something from their home. And that's where we can really focus to drive more new BIGionaires to try our stores. We also look at ad effectiveness. So just measuring based on benchmarks in advertising, just different metrics to look at that can showcase that this commercial is breakthrough and the campaign is resonating, and we look at social sentiment. And then down in the bottom of the funnel, obviously, we're also looking at driving incremental transactions and sales. With a special eye for driving new rewards members. Mm-hmm. I want BIGionaires today to be proud of this brand and this campaign. I want them to tell their friends about it. And I would love to see our 21 million come in more to our stores, but I'd also like to see our community of BIGionaires get bigger. And I know that we can. So I'm also focused on looking at new customer growth.
So in terms of getting that messaging out and what you're hearing from your customers, I know that to your point, that you want to be engaging with your customers, you want to be getting their feedback where this campaign is obviously just getting underway, but what are you hearing from your customers and their experiences? You talked about kind of the value of the experience when you go into Big Lot. It's not just your typical retail store. It's something that's going to put a smile on the customer's face, have fun, enjoy the experience. How can you kind of talk to your customers and measure that satisfaction level that they're getting when they go to your store or go to Big Lot's website or the other different ways that it can engage with the company?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, this is where social media is truly beneficial because we can see just all the chatter that's out there in terms of the sentiment, not only for our brand and the campaign, but our choice of Retta. And I'll tell you, I pulled a couple of quotes that I found the other day. One of them is, "I absolutely love your spokesperson. She's hysterical. Love every commercial." And seeing things like that pop up not only makes us feel really good about the selection of Retta, but Retta sees it. So she told me the other day when she was presenting at one of our internal events at one of our quarterly town halls, and she said, "I think I'm more famous from being a Big Lot spokesperson than anything else I've done." She said, "You would not believe all of the calls I'm getting and emails from friends." And what's great about that is, she's excited to partner. She's getting positive feedback, which means it just continues to be a great synergy. A quote that a customer wrote was, "I haven't been in a Big Lots in years, but your new commercial, BIGionaire, is so cute and clever. I might just have to go back and check it out." So, yes, you haven't been to a Big Lots in years. If this brand movement, this campaign makes you reconsider us, well, that is a success for us. And I also love how many people really said, "I'm definitely a Big Lots BIGionaire. I'm your number one BIGionaire." So customers are really getting behind this idea. And so we're really excited to see what more transpires.
Yeah, and that one about inspiring somebody to get back into a Big Lots store, that to you, as you said, that's really, that's music to your ears in terms of getting that kind of feedback from a customer. So that's great to hear. Then my final question, Joyce, in terms of, we've talked a lot about the Be a BIGionaire campaign, but you mentioned that there's other things going on at Big Lots. Tell us, kind of looking ahead, what else is in your pipeline for you and your team in the marketing department as we move here into the second half of 2021?
Yeah. So, I mentioned earlier that our mission is really to help people live big and save lots, and that continues to be the case, and that will always be the case. We're continuing to look at how can we continue to double down on big buys. So when we go out and we can use our buying power to buy great deals and bring things in that might not be there all the time, but give our customer a smoking deal. We want to be able to do that. That's grounded in this notion of making sure that we're her place for every bargain that she can possibly get. And how do we continue to bring this fun personality to life in our overall marketing approach? So that's something our VP of Creative, Becky Ziegler, is that's her number one focus, is how do we make sure that every marketing touch point that we have is really focused on bringing this notion of being the home of the hunt, whether it's a bargain or a treasure, to life. And then the other thing I mentioned was rewards. What's in our pipeline is we have so much rich data on our customers. And, we're just on the beginning of the journey of investing in personalization. Our VP of Analytics and Insights, Amy Nelson, is holistically focused on taking our CDP and really looking at how can we leverage all this great customer data to talk in a more one-to-one way with our customers. And so that's something you're going to see a lot more from us in the near future on. Personalization, I think, is so key to any retailer's success. From a branding standpoint, my goal is that a customer gets a communication from us and says, wow, Big Lots really gets me. And that's the early journey that we're on. So it's really, how do I bring this great brand to life with a personality, but then also talk to you in a more meaningful, personalized way?
Yeah, and to your point, that rewards program offers such, valuable, it's a treasure trove of data that you can then get to know your customer better, to your point, and then deliver that personalized messaging in multiple channels so that your customer does feel that they have a connected relationship with Big Lots.
Exactly. I want a customer to get a communication from us, and we serve her up her what our greatest deals of the day or the week. But then maybe there's a focus on our cat yoga calendar, which has a different cat and different yoga styles every month. And I want our customer to go, wow, I didn't know they had that. I didn't know I needed that, but I got to go get one. So
yeah, making that. Yeah, that kind of fun treasure experience, as you mentioned.
Exactly.
Great. Well, I want to take the opportunity to thank Joyce Workus, who is the Senior Vice President of Marketing at Big Lots, for joining us on today's show and telling us all about the Be a BIGionaire campaign at Big Lots, as well as some of the other cool marketing things coming down the road from the business. So thank you for joining me, Joyce.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.